tied into different parts of my life. So growing up, I went to church a lot. My family was very religious, so I had to wear collared shirts to church. And I amassed a rainbow collection of polos. I wore polos all the time, and I absolutely hated them. I'm no longer religious, and they're why. I also went to Catholic school from kindergarten to 12th grade. So I wore uniforms in Catholic school. So I spent my days wearing uniforms and then going to church and wearing polos. So I got tired of this pretty quickly. So I started exploring, and I started, reading all these different magazines and learning about different styles, and, being envious of the girls who'd wear like boho and be glamorous and look, chic and leather. I started learning about, how like clothing is made and how like all these different silhouettes. And I started watching Project Runway, which is great. And so I spent a lot of time like investing into just learning about fashion, and the one conflict that always remained was that a lot of things that I was attracted to didn't meet the standards of modesty for my faith, for my culture, and my family, and I was really conflicted because I was like, these are just pretty things, and I really like looking at them, and why was I responsible for other people looking at me? Like, they can control themselves, I couldn't do that myself. So had a lot of conflict here, and I thought I could figure this out once I go to college, because in college I could wear whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I would be in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, like no one can judge me. So I had a lot of fun in college, trying all different types of styles, doing my own thing. I sort of tried to embody like different characteristics. So I tried to look cool, I tried to look cute, I tried to look sophisticated, and was hoping that, if I could look this way, I could be this way. I could feel like this was me. And I spent a lot of time trying everything that I could. It did not work. It was pretty much a hot mess in college, but that is okay. I learned a lot about, basically just trying out as much as I could, and it took a long time, and I did not find myself in college. I still did not know who I was, but fortunately after I left, I actually ended up going to Boston, and Boston was a great place for me. Boston. Yeah. So the first year in Boston, I actually didn't have a mirror. I moved into this room. It was furnished, but the person who was there before me took their mirror, and I was really lazy, and I didn't buy a mirror. So I got used to waking up in the morning and just putting my clothes on, and then just walking out and not looking at myself. And it was so eye-opening because I spent so much less time thinking about, how do I look and how do people perceive me, and what do I need to look like. And so I could finally just start thinking about myself and doing the things that I enjoyed, and not being obsessed over, trying to fit into certain norms and expectations that I felt, that I had to feel that I could fit into. So Boston was good. And there's still moments of uncertainty, though, that have come up. And one of them was during vacation in Vietnam, which is a beautiful place, so highly suggested. There was one time that I was essentially, sort of walking down this route with my dad, and we were actually going shopping. And a man started approaching me, and I started planning as he was getting closer and closer what I would do. And my dad was actually a little bit behind me, and he came up and basically shoved this man away, and then we just kept walking. And I felt really sad in this moment because I've never really told my parents about these things happening to me, often, and they'll continue to happen. And so I was sad that he had to see that. And I knew that he was thinking, what if he hadn't been there, and what if this happens again? And so he ended up saying to me, maybe tomorrow you should cover up. And I was so ashamed, and it was the first time in a long time that I felt ashamed. I knew he didn't mean it that way, but the next day I, covered up, and I thought it would make me feel better, but it made me feel worse, and there was no sense of false security that could make me feel any better. So the day after that, I reminded myself that no matter what I'm wearing, it's not my fault. And I'm going to wear what I want. Finally, finances. I spent a lot of time using retail therapy. So whenever I felt sad, whenever I felt happy, whenever I felt mad, I would just shop. It was really bad in college where, I was figuring my life out, and I did a lot of online shopping, and I went through a lot of plastic bags because that's what they came in. So it's not suggested. It does not solve your emotional issues at all. So don't try that. But I ended up realizing this is a little crazy, so I donated a lot of my clothing, and I also resold a lot of them on this app called Poshmark. And that was when I started actually saving money for grad school. So I made it, so here I am. I do still have student loans, so not quite solved that problem. But this year I decided to take it to a new level, and my New Year's resolution is to not buy any clothes. So going on 2 months. So hopefully, this is also part of my plan to start, paying back my loans a little more quickly. So for other. Shopping again. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, that's, fashion. I'm now able to wear what I like, and I can do that because I understand myself a lot better, and I know what I like, and my fashion reflects me. And it's taken me a long time to get there, and I'm just really happy that, that's possible.
You went through college, you're probably a little bit of a hot mess. So, some years out, how would you describe your style now that you are truly you, proud of yourself? What do you want your style to say about you?
Yeah, that's hard. I've got a pretty wide mix of things. I would say colorful, because I love colors. I love patterns and textures. I'm really a lot about comfort. I can't do heels. It's terrible. Yeah, I think all of those things, and just, I don't know. I no longer spend a lot of time thinking about how people see me, and because of that, I don't really feel like I have to define my style in any way. I just pick something that I like, and I just like how it looks, and then I just wear it.
So as a graduating second year, thanks for the employment reminder.
Sorry.
As the official delegate from Boston, we are not fashionable people.
No.
We're basically like Marshalls and Forever 21 or whatever you want. Did that free, really, really bad fashion allow you? Did you feel more open to try what you wanted?
I'm not sure, because I think before that I wasn't, I was in North Carolina in Charlotte, and then I was in Williamstown, which is in the middle of nowhere. So I didn't really have a good gauge of what a fashionable city was. So I don't think that Boston seemed more or less so. But I mean, after having been to New York, it definitely is not fashionable in Boston. Yeah. I did get a lot of sweaters, which is very useful for moving here, so I do appreciate that. Yeah. Sorry, the light is low. Yeah.
Favorite article or accessory of clothing?
Ooh, that's a good one. I really like dresses because, favorite article of clothing. I like dresses because I don't have to match them with anything, and I can just put them on.